Hi everybody, this is Joanna with Abstract Art Journal, and I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to paint in your art journal, ways to get texture, to use gesso and not using it. This sketchbook I'm using today is a 90-pound. I like to use 90-pound or higher. You don't have to use gesso with thicker paper like this. If you have thinner paper, then you want to use gesso so that your paper won't warp. The other thing, I wanted to show you a couple of other sketchbooks I have. I've got this one. This is 108 pounds. I have two. This is another one that's 108 pounds. It's 108 pounds. And then I have one which is a little, I got a really big one. And this one is like maybe 65 pounds. The paper's not as thick. So this one I would probably want to use gesso first before painting on it. I'll show you the different effects you can get with the different gessos. The other thing I like to use with my sketchbook is I use wax paper, and I cut this the same size as the paper so that you can use it between your pages if you want to do another page, and it keeps the wet paint, from sticking. That's really good. I also use it under the page I'm working on. The clear wrap or saran wrap you can use and put on your paint to make texture. So I was going to show you a couple of different ways. Of course, now it doesn't want to come out, of showing, of using these different things to make texture. So we'll use a little piece of this today too. Then the other things I wanted to show you is we're going to be using some stencils, cardboard that you can make yourself, different sponges, stamps that you can make with erasers, and I'm going to be using a scraper today. The paints I want to use today to show you is that I do use golden fluid acrylics. They are fun. I consider them more of a glaze, but if you don't want to use your regular paints, the other paints I like to use is these cheaper craft paints, which are also very thin, which is really good for your journal. So to use, because you're not using super heavy paper. Now I'm going to show you how I do the gesso for the journal. So what I do is, if I can open it, okay, here we go. Go ahead and squirt a little bit on your page, and that's about it. And then I'm going to use the scraper to spread it on my page. It does a really thin layer, and the reason I like to use the gesso this way, to scrape it on there rather than painting it, one, you get texture from the lines from the scraper, and also because you're doing a thin layer, it dries fast. So we'll be able to work on that during the same video. The other thing I'm using is I use palette paper. I just got this as a sample. I got a big tablet, but this is perfect to put some paints down. So today I'm going to be using the golden liquid acrylics, which I'll put some down so you can see. This one is a really beautiful color, quinachrome magenta. I'm sure that's not pronounced right. This is also very pretty. This is ultramarine blue. And I also like to use some white. So this is called titanium white. So we'll put a little bit of that on our pad here, on our palette, because we're just going to be doing some different things. So what I want to do first is, let's go ahead. I like to use a makeup sponge a lot of times when I use stencils. So we'll go ahead and do a stencil, a little bit of the blue. And you'll see, what kind of a pretty thing we can come up with. Okay, that's pretty, and let's do it on the gesso side. The gesso is still wet, but it will still work. And you'll see what I mean about it's more of a glaze on the gesso. So isn't that pretty? Go ahead and set this down on a piece of paper towel while we're still playing around here. Okay, the other thing that's fun is to use a cardboard, and you can get the cardboard, like a cardboard box or whatever, and then just peel off one side and you get the little ribs, which make great stamps. So we'll go ahead and put a little paint on here and see what kind of effect we can get on your page. So we'll go ahead and put it here. And you get like the lines that are kind of neat looking, and we'll put it on the gesso page. Now, the gesso page is still a little damp, but you can still work with it. The makeup sponges are really inexpensive, so I will use like a different one for each color. They're really fun to use. The other thing that I like to use are these little sponge brushes that you can get, and they make different little marks, which is really fun. You can't sometimes tell what made that mark, how'd they do that. So you can kind of see what I mean with that. The other thing is that I love to carve my own little stamps out of erasers, and you can get, and they make really cute marks, and you can make really good designs with that, you know. I like, that's my little starfish, or star, I call it. And I like my fish, so let's do a red fish. And I'll show you how that looks. But yeah, the little stamps work really great. And you know, the more you stamp it, then you can get lighter effects. On the gesso, you see it comes out a little bit different. I really like using the bubble wrap, so I'll show you the different thing you can get the bubble wrap look. Okay. Look how nice that comes. So it's like a different dot. I really like that too. So basically what you're doing is you can make all kinds of marks just using a few items. The other thing I'll show you is we'll go ahead and put just a bunch of red in this one spot, and we'll put some saran wrap on it. And what happens is when you put that on it, it will make like wrinkles in the paint itself, which is kind of fun. The other thing that I wanted to try and use is these are these little plates that you get for paper, and they have, you know, you can put the paper in between and it has a design. And to me, it looks almost like you could, you know, put some paint on it and actually use that in your journal. So let's try that over here. So it does work really good. So it's up to you. You can see the difference in the page with the gesso on it, and that gesso is already dry, and the page without the gesso. So see, you get a little, that's probably wasn't on there long enough. I'm going to go ahead and put, you know, a little bit of white on there to make it look kind of neat looking. And when you put the white on it, it kind of spreads the paint. So the makeup sponges that, you know, are great. They make their own little marks too. So I hope you enjoyed the video and that you'll try some of these ideas on your own. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.